Oh, welcome back again. So we're recording on the back of another disappointing result for Hibs. However, this time it was definitely coupled with a very I am joined by Ryan and Greg. Harry has informed us that he's shite because Hibs are shite. Greg, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Not feeling 100%. Pretty heavy weekend. But no, good. Ryan.
Other than Hibs, man, I'm all right. Uh, Same old Hibs will knock you down when you're feeling okay.
Yeah. You would have thought after however many years following Hibs, that we would know not to get too carried away with things. And regardless of the results against Old Firm, it still felt like we had a lot of momentum. The pair of you, obviously, I wasn't at the game at the weekend. I was away. Both buzzing before the game to get back to Easter Road. Looking forward to what you were going to see.
Yeah. Even renewed my season ticket before the game as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm same as Greg, and obviously I hadn't seen Liam for a while, so I was looking forward to getting back, having a chat with him, and much like Greg, I renewed my season ticket the night before the game. Wish I never bothered, man.
Aye, look, so Hibs played shite. What did we expect Hibs to struggle as much as we did when we seen the starting 11 come out? Greg, we spoke last week that we thought there'd be quite a lot of changes from Celtic Park, which was a pretty defensive lineup. Um, but there really wasn't that many changes actually in the grand scheme of things. Maybe a slightly different shape. What were your thoughts with that starting 11?
I was first of all disappointed to see Miller dropped. Um, I thought he'd done more than enough to keep his position in the team. I was okay with Jake Hayes coming in. And obviously Nisbet came in for Youan, which I was okay with until distinct lack of effort. Um, I thought Nisbet was poor up front. A couple of times the ball came to him, he couldn't control it. That pretty much summed up his first half. But in terms of Miller being dropped, it just became incredibly strange
Mm-hmm.
that because Egan Riley was playing at right back and Cadden was further up, and I thought Cadden was very good actually further up the pitch. Took Jago about 15, 20 minutes to find the Hibs player with a pass. So for me, I probably would have rather had Egan Riley in his position uh, and Miller in for Jago. But that's what it is. I just think that you could tell in the first 5 minutes that we weren't at it at all,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of personnel. We were making basic errors, we were underhitting passes. We were playing passes behind players that wasn't good enough. There was nothing. They were pressing us. We had no answers. I just straight away you could just see that it was so sloppy. We were so laboured in everything we done as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think in the first half it was only really handling it left centre half that was trying to drive us forward. And Cadden was beating men and getting at the box, but with absolutely nothing up front.
Yeah, Ryan, the other change, obviously, the Greg maybe didn't mention there, obviously, Matthew Hoppe came back in as well, and he seems to be ahead of Kukurevich right now, but be it because of fitness or what, but since he came in, obviously, he came off the bench against Kilmarnock and scored, and then started the following weekend, and he was the first striker that came on at Celtic Park in the second half. Are you surprised at where he seems to be in the pecking order just now?
Listen, yeah, I'm personally surprised. I have not been flattered by him. I think that he kind of lacks the strength to be able to hold the ball up. I don't think he's got the pace to get in behind. I don't think he can pick a pass. He doesn't get to the byline and whip crosses in. I just don't see what he has about his game that adds anything to this team, especially when you have more quality players on the bench, such as Kukarevich at the minute, who's a great option for us to have. Never mind off the bench, he should be starting games. I find it a strange one, to be honest with you, that he's held in such high regard by Lee Johnson. He's yet to show me anything in any game that would
I
suggest he
think
should be starting.
could there be a train of thought maybe in terms of if you were keeping someone permanently, maybe Hoppe, maybe that's something the club are looking at as potentially more realistic than Kukurevich, or was it? I mean, Greg, I have to say you're the first person that sort of said to me that it was a 4-3-3 in the first half. Is it simply
Yeah.
that we just maybe Hoppe is more capable off the left side?
No, because he went to the left and he was absolutely dreadful. So I mean, really, I don't see what he brings either. He looks slow. He doesn't pick the right passes at the right moments. I think what summed up the first half for me was when he tried to beat Paul McGinn and he didn't even take the ball with him and then fouled him. That just summed up the first half, and that was a serious lack of quality. I think he had another run in the first half, Ryan, where he ran, got to the byline, and cut it back, but there was no pace on the ball, so it was easily
Mm,
cleared.
mm,
The decision making was awful, but it wasn't just him. I think every player,
Yeah.
maybe other than Cadden, I would say the decision making was miles off where it should be.
What
yeah.
obviously Harry put a tweet out on Saturday night around gripes and stuff, and we've obviously asked for questions and stuff like usual for this week's pod, and they're all fairly similar. You know, obviously everyone's pretty dishappy, but we've spoke there about the starting 11. What would you have liked to see? A lot of the gripes were around starting formation, starting team. Where
Mm.
what would have been potentially the obvious changes to make there to what we did start with at the weekend?
Well, for me, it's more based around the amount of attacking, forward-thinking players on the pitch, as opposed to being so defensive. You start a game with, I think it was 5, 6 defenders on the pitch and 2 holding midfielders, regardless of the formation you play. If you play a defensively minded player in an attacking position, it's still not natural to them.
Mm.
So personnel wise, I'm not going to pick out names and stuff like that, but I would like to have seen a more attack minded formation go at a team that are below you in the league,
Not gonna
especially
book
when
out
you're at
names.
home.
Shitty bag. Like these names.
Uh, no, I
Uh,
don't know. I don't have much faith in the likes of McCurdy off the bench, Tavares. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Massively missed Youan, eh? That's
Huge, massive, yeah, huge.
However, this is what pisses me off, and it has done for a while, is him seem to be reliant on one player. Obviously, with it with Boyle, now it seems to be Youan. Could nobody else really, step up?
do you think we're
For
still
me,
seeing the negative effects of not being able to get all the like we're never going to see Boyle, Kukurevich, Nisbet, Yuan all on the same pitch. You know what I mean? Like, are we again with his suspension and Boyle's injury? We're constantly only getting one or two of our better, stronger forwards, and obviously McGeady's injury as well after being fairly promising.
yeah. I mean, teams have injuries. Injuries don't stop you passing the ball properly
Yeah,
or stop you doing things in the game correctly. For me, I would have liked to see Miller start. I think he's quite an attacking fullback with Cadden further up the pitch, sort of right wing type. I would have liked to see Kukurevich and Nisbet both play, even as well as Hoppe. If he was there, that's fine. It's another attacker on the pitch. Probably not as big as fan, but the
yeah,
more attackers you have on the pitch, the better. I just think that there was too many defenders on the pitch. I don't think you need Jago and Doyle Hayes in the same team. For me, I'd rather have had Doyle Hayes without Jago.
keeper.
Campbell in there. I would have started Newell as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
You see when he came on, he did make a big difference. But I don't know. I just think that Saturday was one of the games where there was pretty much everyone was absolutely miles off it,
yeah,
including the keeper.
yeah.
Entirely unacceptable for a goalkeeper of his experience to be
Yeah,
making mistakes like that.
we will definitely get on to it. I think out with formation and team, David Marshall has been the sort of main chain of questions. We will come on to the second half and we will cover it with the questions and stuff. I don't think that there can be much said about him for the first goal though.
I don't know. I think there can be. I think that
No,
the
surely.
gap between you and come on. If you watch the goal, Goss hasn't actually. rifled it in the net.
Mate, it's hit.
There's such a big gap between him and his post. It's if you look at where his position is between himself and the post, you should be asking questions of your goalkeeper.
I'm not sure
He's so far over.
I'm not sure even if he is. I don't think he's that far over though. I don't
He
know.
is.
Right.
I've watched it numerous times, and he is too far over for me. Far too far over. He doesn't even attempt it either. So.
Well, from whether he's in or out of position, the position he's in, he's got no chance with that free kick. I think it's a good goal personally, and it probably summed up the start from what I've seen. Slow start to the game from Hibs and really slow first half. Ryan, do you have any blame on Marshall for that first goal?
I think that schoolboy defender initially, we didn't clear our lines. If we give away a stupid free kick in the edge of the box, you're just asking for trouble then. As for putting the blame on Marshall for the first one, I'm not sure. I haven't really looked back at it again because I was so pissed off. But I would definitely say, we're going to speak about it later, obviously, so the second free kick and the penalty. So I would put full blame on him for them.
Yeah, what did you make of the halftime changes? Harry McCarthy came on.
Not enough.
Aye, not enough.
Think,
you could have changed 11.
I don't know what you thought, Ryan, but with the conversations at half time, I felt like there could have been 3 or 4
easily
changes,
easily.
And nobody would have been able to complain. He brought on McCarthy, which I was a bit baffled by because he's not got a chance.
Yeah.
He's just back from injury. He's not really played. I thought I would have seen Youan or Kukurevich or something like that, but he brought McCarthy on and
Who did McCarthy come on for? Again.
Doyle Hayes.
Ah, right, yeah. And Doyle Hayes had been booked for the free kick, right?
Very early on, actually,
Yeah.
aye. And he was harrying into tackles and stuff like that, so he was a potential for a second booking. But McCurdy came in at half time and he was not impactful whatsoever. I think I said in the group chat he spent more time arguing with the linesman than he did try to make an impact in the game.
Aye, I've seen.
I don't know how much you've seen that in the highlights.
Far too many. I seen this. I watched the entire second half. I was back in the hotel at that point. The McCarthy. I've seen far too many shouts last week on that unpopular thing that Harry tweeted about how McCarthy's going to come good in that. And look, again, I absolutely hope he does, but seen nothing.
I'm not going to comment on his long-term future, but I think when you're looking to change the game at half-time, you're 2-0 down. You're 1-0 down. You've not been playing well. You want someone in the midfield that can take control. Joriel is an obvious choice. And if Joriel would be fit enough for 45 minutes if he's on that bench.
Yeah.
And he doesn't bring him on and ultimately brought him on too late, I would say. But
second half started probably just as slow as the first half. An absolute calamity that leads up to Matt Poppy trying the back heel. Josh Campbell doesn't win the tackle. And then David, I don't know what David Marshall. Well, I don't even know why he's there. I don't know why David Marshall's not just on his line.
Spell's going nowhere. Let's be honest, he might get a cross a goal. Fair enough.
A dodgy angle. Like,
there's no need to go absolutely hurtling out towards him. I think
Hoppy, the ball.
Hoppy done it in the first half. He was trying to juggle the ball at the edge of his box when we're already under pressure. That pisses me off because that's amateur stuff. Just get the ball clear, regroup, and for the penalty, he's pissed about with it again. Josh Campbell, a weak pass. It's going nowhere. He's got 4 or 5 players round him. Motherwell regained possession, crossing the box. The Marshall goes out and flattens Blissville.
I just can't fathom why he's there. Right, any idea?
I don't think anyone knows.
Campbell's like so obviously cutting off the space there. He's getting goal side. He's actually got himself into a half decent position. And Marshall just comes out with sweet chin music, man. Like I don't know what he's up to. Like crazy.
But yeah, I am absolutely baffled by it. And then Marshall gets booked, and then they go to VAR for a potential handball for the attacking team. But everyone can see clear as day that it's a penalty and there was absolutely no handball from Motherwell.
Sorry,
And then the penalty,
I don't know if
then
you
just
did that come through there, Matt? Sorry, I don't know.
No.
Fucking my Spotify just started playing fucking Queen on the laptop. Fucking chat myself.
Jesus
Ooh.
Christ.
Anyway, back to the
Poor
pen.
penalty. Poorly taken penalty.
I
You've got to
mean,
save in that,
you
man.
think we'd be bad conceding the penalty, and then you watch the penalty, like, oh my god. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for the one at Celtic Park. I'll only just give him the benefit of the doubt, but that was the
Yeah.
weekend. There's no
The
excuse
one,
for that. That's pathetic.
yeah, and I think Greg, we spoke about it last week, and it's hard. And I think you guys spoke about it the week after as well. Sorry, the week before. It's difficult to criticise goalkeepers for not saving penalties, right? Because we're not criticising them if he dives the other way. Ultimately, right? You're criticising them for giving it away, but he's got to save that to the point that I think the Celtic one was at least hit with a little bit more power.
Yeah.
Like that. That just it was I don't know what it was like in the stadium. I celebrated in the hotel room because I thought he'd saved it, and then you just seen it proper trickle
Storm
over
under
the
him.
line. Like he should save it. Ultimately, he really, really should save it when you go the right way. It probably is still quite harsh because literally,
It's not.
but like I mean, like in general terms, to criticise a goalkeeper for not saving a penalty because he could, it's a guess. But when you go
Yeah,
there,
but he's guessed right.
yeah, no, I agree.
And
No, I agree.
he's
Absolutely
literally let
agree.
it trickle under his body, though.
Had the chance to redeem himself there. You know what I mean? If he
Yeah.
saves the penalty, then the game stays as it was before he made that rash decision. It
think
maybe
we've
gives.
got,
I think as well, if you save the penalty, you probably get a little bit of confidence out of that.
Aye,
yeah,
you do
But
kick on. Yeah, that could change the entire momentum of the
for the
game.
match.
Like you're 1-0 down, but do you think given his history with Scotland and even with us this year, do you think we expect too much from Marshall at penalties? Like, do you think we expect him to save them? Like Levy one, or two. Sorry.
I don't think so.
I
I think you expect him to be doing better, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think he should have saved it. I think, I do.
I think there's maybe more of a bit of optimism, kind of when you can see the penalty, thinking that you've got a wee bit of an advantage having somebody like Marshall that's a kind of specialist at saving penalties. You're a wee bit more kind of hopeful that he might pull something out the bag.
Yeah,
I think it was maybe like when we had Ben Williams, and obviously he saved a few penalties.
yeah.
You're thinking, oh, there is a chance.
And then
But
when
then
it really
when
matters,
you do actually save it, when it trickles under you, that's just come on.
Oh dear.
it just
This
looks worse as well.
goalkeeper.
It just looks worse. That's like literally if he dives the other way and that just rolls in, then
Fair enough.
he's
Fair
only
enough, but
getting criticised for giving the penalty away at that point. It's like ultimately that whether he dives the right way or no, it's his fault. But the goal went in shortens. Hibs then get one back fairly quickly through a very good header from Kevin Nisbet, who otherwise in the game done absolute fuck all. A pretty spectacular ball in from Cadden. Good cross, but for me,
well, listen, it was a good cross. I think that's what we failed to do more in the game is get the ball out wide, get the ball into more attacking areas. Because I felt like,
but it was a deep cross, which for me, I thought after we scored, that was like that was our default position, just floating balls into the box, like,
and they were just lapping it up. Yeah, at that point in the game, it suited Motherwell though. They had something to defend. They were lapping it up.
Motherwell, their back four isn't blessed with a lot of ability, but it is a very much head and kick it defence.
Yeah.
They defend, which we made it very easy for them.
Aye, it just for me, I think look, Hibs scored a good goal, and we don't want to gloss over that given the amount of time we spent talking about Motherwell's goals and the Hibs deficiencies. But you're not going to spend much time on when we don't kick on after that. I don't recall us having another shot in the game.
Well, like Kukovic actually went through not long after that, but it was quickly defended. Where you see him go through, and like, oh, here we go, we got a chance.
Yeah. But that's it. you've got the momentum, and we had all the ball, and we done. There was no creativity, no idea really, no pattern. The amount of times that Jimmy Jago floated a ball into the box, or the fullbacks floated a ball into the box. Newell was guilty. Like it just when Newell came on, he done it. It just, it just.
This
It was
might
flat. It was
this might
honestly, it
come
was so
across a bit
flat.
of a Jago bashing, but why is he still on the pitch?
I mean, I didn't understand. I didn't understand taking Egan Riley off before him, and you know you're 2-0 down at that sub, and
You
I, I
don't need
I
a
messaged you
holding
guys.
midfielder.
I messaged you guys to see if I was missing something watching it. Obviously on the stream, like was he struggling or something? You know, like because like maybe off the ball stuff you can't see it. And Liam said no, he was fine. And like he's more athletic than Jago, which I think I don't. That's not a criticism of Jago, but for me, if you're chasing a game, surely you want the more athletic players on, and well, ultimately the better player. You know, like, but
Better
ultimately
passing ability, just better everything.
we've seen, but like Egan Riley can play at fullback. We've seen him put crosses and we've seen him get up and down the line. Like to remove that player with the abilities to keep someone that is ultimately in the team to just protect the back line and sort of shuffle across, etc. In a game that whether Motherwell weren't counter attacking for my money, really.
Not, not at
And
that point in the game.
and even if they were, you're getting beat. We got beat 3-1. Had it been 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, it doesn't matter. It was the points that you were not in a position where goal difference is that important right now. That might be wrong. It might come. That sub really, I really didn't understand that at all. Like you say, not to be a bashing on it, just in terms of just the qualities of Egan Riley versus Jago for the requirement in the game, I didn't get it at all.
Yeah,
I,
no, you're
I,
spot on there.
I don't understand that at all. I just think that a very strange substitution. I think that why not bring, I don't know, just bring anyone on, you know. I mean, Joe came on for Egan Riley. I just Joe for Jago's much more sensible. You've
Yeah,
got adds balance to the midfield. You've got a left footer in there. Jorio will drive forward. Egan Riley will drive forward.
yeah, that's what I was.
I just,
It was like it
but
was just
but but
too.
then
It was too
Lee
conservative
Johnson,
still, wasn't it? Like keeping Jago on. It's like you're. Did he think we were going to go 3-2 up, and he was worried that would be, you know what I mean? Like what? I don't know if it's trying to be too clever or having too much faith in the players at
yeah,
all. Like just really disappointing, and like it was just a complete flat second half. That, as you put it on Saturday evening, Greg, it was the worst 45 minutes of the season since the first 45 that we played on
Yeah.
Saturday. And then Motherwell wrap it up with Kevin Van Dijk.
unbelievable.
Like that is, I don't understand how that's ended up in the back of the net. I'm sorry, I don't think there's any excuse for it. I really don't. I really don't.
I think you hard out, yeah. Like he's not hit it hard at all.
It just
There's no pace on the ball. I don't even think there's anyone blocking the goalkeeper.
even if there is, it's miles out from, and it's pretty far out, but it's also at the other. You know what I mean? Like the angle at which it's went in has increased the
Uh-huh.
distance. If you know what I mean. Without like
Yeah.
Ryan, you'd had a good view of that for the top of the stand.
Me and Liam were pretty much behind it. Aye, we're pretty much behind it. And as you say, with the angle and the fact that it's at the goalkeeper's side, like, if you're going to set up a wall, like you kind of have to, in a way, trust that it's going to do its job, and you stay on your side to stop from what has happening.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe already conceded for a free kick. Maybe takes that extra step to the other side. Doesn't want to get caught out again. But
Yeah, maybe he ends up with
But
a clean pie on his face, though, doesn't
it is bad, isn't it? And then
he actually went down so slowly as well. Like so slowly.
it's it's the cherry on top of some real poor form for David Marshall. Like
Yeah.
and I think one thing that I maybe want to say, and should maybe we'll move on to the questions now. And maybe we'll just avoid all the David Marshall questions because we'll just go in and talk about it now. So apologies for what you've sent in, but I think it's potentially too easy to say it's his age. I think we've all probably all said it since Saturday, but he could just be suffering bad form. And I think we've seen it with Marciano. See, any time that Marciano didn't have at least semi-realistic competition behind him, his form fell off a cliff. David Marshall's form has fell right off a cliff since Schofield left. I don't think anyone ever considered Schofield as a first-team option, but at least it kept him honest.
Mm-hmm.
It just, and I'm not saying that he's not. I don't think anyone would accuse David Marshall of lacking professionalism or anything, but the mistakes are just mental now. The Rangers goal, the 2 goals at the weekend, like what he was good at earlier in the season, his distribution that has fell off the face of a cliff as well. It just really, really poor, and you can't play Murray Johnson at abs. He's going to stay in goals in the end of the season.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Sure. I think, although maybe people don't mention his age, but maybe sure that he's past it. So in a roundabout way, you're probably saying
Yeah.
you probably are bringing up his age, but obviously he's not as athletic as he used to be. Let's be honest. Nobody was expecting him to be totally athletic like he was in his prime. But I just think that he is really bad at the moment. And although at the start of the season maybe that's one position we could trust, not at the moment.
Yeah. Right. Are you worried about Marshall going to the remainder of the season in terms of what we hope is obviously we know 3 crucial games before the split, and then we hope still a challenge to try and get sort of top 4, and assuming if we manage to finish top 6, that would you be worried that he might cost you more points than what he wins you?
It's a good question. I think we haven't, as a podcast, been overly critical of Marshall, despite some pretty bad mistakes over the course of the season up till now. I don't know if I'd be worried as such. I would just be really mindful that he's probably the kind of keeper that's maybe got a mistake in him at the minute. His form has drastically dropped off a cliff rapidly. Obviously, the stats kind of stack up against him in terms of his save per shot ratio. Doesn't make for good reading. His distribution, he was kicking balls at the park on Saturday. How commanding is he of his area? Is he loud? Is he a leader?
He's never came for crosses this season, really, has he? And when he does, he doesn't look confident.
The reason I'm mentioning the commanding and the leader bit, I don't know if either of you seen a little video of the training session with the goalkeepers there last week. I think it was on the Hibs website. I didn't find them to be overly loud, overly talkative, or commanding, or coaching the young keepers through it. And I just maybe I'm reading too much into it, but is he quiet on the pitch? Is he a leader? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quiet on the pitch.
I think you said
after the first goal. After the first goal, he was sort of giving the centre halves a hard time.
It's probably difficult when you've made the mistake. When you've made the mistake, you can't really berate other people, can you?
Yeah.
Sort of take up the chin
as much as you want to.
You got experience of that, great day.
I know it's never my fault, but I can imagine from other people's experience that maybe they do just look to blame others. But I don't think he's quite on the pitch because you do hear him quite a lot.
I'm quite far away from where I sit, but I'm personally not a big fan of goalkeepers being a captain. I want my captain to go and take the game by the scruff of the neck when you're 2-1 down and set the tempo and lead by example and thunder into a tackle.
Ryan, that takes us in perfectly to the first question. Greavesy asked us too. Can we give a review on the goalkeeper or the keeper as captain? Ryan, you just gave yours. Greg, like it? Don't like it?
No, not a fan.
My view is I really don't care. And we've debated captains long enough on this podcast and as a fan base whether it was Paul Hanlon, David Gray, whoever, and every player has their own responsibility. Every player should be shown the leadership on the park. Whether goalkeepers, you could argue, maybe have the best view, and it's probably the most important position on the park, other than potentially striker in terms of putting the ball in the net or stopping it. So I don't mind it personally, but I don't really give a fuck who the captain is my personal
Joe
view.
Gill.
Right. His second question was: is our lack of technical games like the weekend prove that when chasing a game and no real quality to pull the strings, all work hard, but none of them can see or make a key pass? It was a
We're
very
not brave enough.
workman-like. It is a very workman-like midfield that we have, though, isn't it? You know, Campbell, whose form has potentially fell off a little bit as well, for all his goals this season, he's still you wouldn't have him down as a creator, would you? We don't really have a creative midfielder from the middle of the park.
To be fair to the midfield on Saturday, there was absolutely no runners in behind, or there was no penetrating runs. There didn't seem to be anybody pulling defenders about. However, the point is valid over the course of the season. I just think there wasn't anybody trying anything, regardless of who the midfield was.
Yeah, I mean, Youan is the ace in the pack, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. He gives you totally something different.
Sorry, you can say that there's no creative midfielders, but Jody was creating the second most chances in the league.
I mean, Greg, I love that stat, but I mean, how much of that is for corner kicks? Also, I don't know if that'll be accurate now, given his wee
possibly not, but
spell,
it was a few weeks ago.
No, it definitely was.
I mean, Lewis Stevenson took a corner at the weekend that I concealed past everyone. Usually he under hits them, but
look, right, next question, Dan Taylor. Are we at risk of the wheels falling off like they did post Old Firm fixtures earlier in the season? Look, for me, easy answer is to say yes. Yes, but I think you'll get a real judge of that come Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is if you bounce back, then you can maybe move on from it. And as disappointing and poor as it was, there obviously was a real feel good factor at Easter Road on Saturday, at least in the lead up to it. Main free home stands very nearly sold out, and they fell flat in the face. But are we at risk? Yes, but I think you'll get a much better judge of it on Sunday. Are you confident ahead of the game?
No, not based off what I've seen. I think Dundee United are fighting for our lives if they outwork us, which wouldn't be difficult after Saturday's performance. And it's going to be a real struggle.
Was that the most worrying thing from the weekend for you, Greg? That sort of lack of energy, lack of spirit, enthusiasm.
There was a real lack of everything. I mean, even we didn't do the fundamentals first of all, but we also didn't work hard off the ball. We didn't work hard to get the ball back. We weren't pressing. We gave Motherwell so much time with the ball that I'm actually surprised he didn't score from open play.
Mm-hmm.
But we just gave them so much time with the ball to do what they wanted. So first of all, we need to work hard and do fundamentals right, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not overly confident for Sunday.
Right, what about you? Do you think we are at risk of the wheels falling off again?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Based on kind of what Greg said there about going away to Dundee United, we could end up with another 3 points dropped, and then we've obviously got Hearts. So absolutely, that could be three losses in a row if we don't pull the figure out on Sunday.
I would caveat that by saying that the wheels can fall off anything.
Yeah,
regardless. But our form at the moment is a worry.
I've seen. I don't know the various people that I've seen break it down, but I feel like I've seen it a lot on Twitter recently about people actually sort of explaining across Scotland, one, how difficult it is to keep up with the Old Firm, and then actually just how difficult it is to put a run together. Because if you factor in you're likely to play the Old Firm once in every 5-6 games, we've obviously got like a derby against Hearts. You put in, maybe you have to go to Pittodrie or whatever, like you will always have a difficult game or a big game right round the corner in this league, pretty much. And for me, it just shows that it's how important it is that you take care of the games that you should be winning. And the only time in recent history that we've done that, we finished third, and we finished third comfortably. Yes, we were all very disappointed with the big games and the cup final that year and stuff, but that season we won the games we should win, and that goes so far. And again this season, we've seen on countless occasions where you lose at Tannadice, but we play well. But then you go to Celtic Park and it's like, fuck, there's back-to-back defeats. You lose to both Old Firm, you do that at the weekend. All of a sudden, it's 3 games on the spin. Fuck. Like it is, you need to win the games, especially at Easter Road. We've dropped far too many points at home against shite Road this year. Like,
100%.
Every team in the league have beaten us.
Yeah, Motherwell were the last team that hadn't beat us this season. And at Easter Road, Dundee United are taking points off us at Easter Road. Ross County, St Johnstone, Motherwell. So the only team that's not taking points off us at Easter Road, if I was to guess, would be Aberdeen and Kelly.
Levy.
Did we beat Levy?
We beat Levy Christmas time.
Aye, we did. That was aye. Still, it's not good enough at home. Right, John, is Jago just Gogic? Look, I let my feelings on Jago know when Hibs were playing well and got absolutely hammered for it. I don't think he's good. I'd never thought he was that good. From debut against Hearts, I thought he was miles off it, but there was definitely that sort of caveat. It was his first game, high paced game, but in the games where he should be excelling in that position, the Celtics, Rangers, Aberdeen, Hearts, don't think he's been that great. Aberdeen probably gets a pass because the whole team were good, but I've really not been impressed. Really not been impressed with Jago. So I don't think he's any better than Alex Gogic, is my opinion.
I've had a couple of tastings on Twitter voicing my opinions over Jago. He isn't good enough. People say, oh, that's his job to defend, but I've seen him miss countless tackles. He can't pass the ball 5 yards. Took him ages to find the Hibs play on Saturday. He doesn't offer us anything at all, I would say. Going forward, I noticed he was, in the first half, he was trying to get into some more advanced positions, makes a wrong decision. So decision making, defensive awareness, defensive ability, passing ability, he's not good enough for me. He's nowhere near it. I think people maybe like him because he is that type of player that we've needed. But what we need is a player with actual ability, and he's not good enough. I've seen enough of him to make my mind up. We obviously seen him at St Mirren, where he was horrendous, I would say. I just don't think he offers us anything at all, even defensively.
Yeah, it's difficult to make a case, Ryan, for a defensive midfielder. When in your last 2 home games you've shipped 7 goals.
Yeah,
that's what he's there to do, though. He's there to defend, and he's been praised for his defensive abilities.
I think when we're taking a bit of heat as a podcast for you guys voicing your opinion. That's your opinion on what you thought of him. I tried to add a bit of balance and point out the things I thought he was good at, but I'm also more than happy to point out the things that he's not good at. He's not mobile. He's got absolutely no passing ability. He's poor aerially. He lunges into tackles and mistimes them. I don't think he reads the game particularly well, and he panics under pressure, amongst other things. But yeah, so I was very disappointed with him on Saturday, and I think he has been poor more often than not. However, it's kind of been overlooked because we were winning games.
I think maybe to add a little bit of actual reasoning to what I've said, for me, like, I think he's caught out of position a lot. I think he tries to press when it's just absolutely not on, and it's like one pass in behind him, and the midfield's just, there's a huge gaping hole in the second half of the weekend. That happened on countless occasions. And
yeah, it's tactical awareness. It's a one-man press. Like, you're just going to get passed around, you know?
Yeah,
it comes back to awareness of reading the game.
Yeah, I'm just not there.
Yeah.
I'm just not there.
He can't turn on the ball. You know, I think Liam said it last night. He can't turn on the ball. He just plays the way he faces.
Man.
You know, Motherwell are pressure. He's panicking. He just, sometimes he'll just hit and hope, but he's not for me at all.
He's not good enough for it,
and it's an absolute myth that defensive midfielders should be limited.
Del Miguel.
You don't have to be limited. They
Look
don't
at
like they do not have to be limited, and people have this perception that
Dylan
but
McGeoch managed to
he's not
be
there to do that. Why not? Why is he not there to do that? He's a
Dylan McGeoch
professional
managed to
football player.
play as a holding midfielder when John McGinn and Scott Allen pretty much both just sold the midfield. Like McGinn was maybe a bit more box to box, but Scott Allen wasn't exactly helping them out defensively. Like McGeoch done that job very well to the point where Bartley didn't really get a sniff, other than the odd occasion when Lennon changed up for games at Tynecastle or whatever. Like, but
Dylan McGee could pass the ball, he could travel with the ball, he could turn with the ball, he could read the game, he could also tackle. It's not. I'm not asking for.
And he's just won the Corn
I'm
Star
not
Player of the Month for Forest Green Rovers.
exactly. I'm not asking for Franz Beckenbauer, but I'm asking for somebody with a little bit of ability who can turn the ball and spray the passes and start attacks.
Right.
No asking for anything amazing. Holding midfielders do not have to be limited, but it's a myth that they do.
Right. Hayden Abrahams. We've played absolutely terrible some games this season, but was Saturday the worst? Why did no one look interested in do we drop Marshall? Look, if there was other, I'll cover the Marshall. If there was other options, he'd be dropped, but there's no, so we won't. Ryan, what question do you want to take? Was that the worst game that we've played?
That was the worst game. That was the worst game I've seen at Easter Road, performance-wise, effort-wise, enthusiasm-wise, in years. And I don't think I'll be alone in saying that.
Greg?
I would agree. Like I said, second half performance was the worst half I've seen from him for a long time.
That's the first half.
Apart from the first half.
Follow up to that, John McIntosh. What was worse, Falkirk away or Motherwell? Obviously, I only seen in person the Falkirk one. Ryan, you were blessed with seeing both.
Well, the thing with the Falkirk performance is, towards the end when we were shooting into the stand we were in, we were creating chance after chance after chance. We just couldn't get the ball over the line. We were not creating chances against Motherwell. We did not look interested. There was just nothing. It was flat. So I think there's a big difference in the type of game and the level of performance
Also,
and effort.
Tight like time in the season, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Like I know it's a
bloated squad and
I was just going to come on to that. Lee Johnson was very good at the job against Falkirk. Ultimately, not acceptable. They got beat. But that the weekend, you're in March. You're at start of April, whatever. I don't.
Greg, just how much should Johnson like? We've been very critical of the effort of the players and of the enthusiasm that they show on the pitch. And also, he also did have his touchline ban. So, did the players let the manager down on Saturday then, as opposed to anything else? Because you can talk about.
Yeah, but I also think the manager let himself down with the way we went out. I think it's a bit of both. I think he has to take responsibility. Johnson ultimately has to take responsibility. He sets the team out. He got that wrong personnel. But at the same time, the players also have to take responsibility for not doing the fundamentals right. They weren't good enough at all. So it's 50-50. I would say both parties have to hold their hands up and say, look, we weren't good enough.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Right. Richard sent, main gripe is you get a fan to pay to play each week and you'd still have more footballing ability than Jimmy Jeggo. Scott Miller, formation and team selection was so poor on Saturday. Too many defenders, lacking energy all round. Back four was working well. Lee Johnson changed it, and after a defeat at Celtic, to accommodate Egan Riley and Jeggo with a really distressed emoji. Jake Doyle Hayes hasn't really warranted a start. Stevenson can't play left wing back. Sorry. All fairly valid, or did Jake Doyle Hayes probably performed at Celtic to warrant a start? But
yeah, I would say Jake Doyle probably worked his socks off at Celtic Park. However, the point about Egan Riley and Jeggo is completely and utterly valid. Like, instead of having the two of them, drop Jeggo, Egan Riley, hold midfield, boom.
Yeah. It's not difficult. Egan Riley can carry the ball, pass the ball down. Basically, everything we've already asked for. I think it was John that asked a fan to play with a Jeggo, was it?
No,
Richard.
Richard, yeah. There are boys in amateur football with bags more ability than Jimmy Jago.
Stop bringing youth players down, Hibernian. Oh, Hibs fans. This is the account name. What is wrong at Hibs? Genuinely believe that the skill set and talent is there, but the mentality isn't. It's 50-50 on whether any player will turn up. That's on the individual.
Yeah, I
Ultimately.
don't think it's 50-50 on whether players will turn up.
It's also it's easy, isn't it? That's it. Like we've done it. We've done it on here before. We've probably done it tonight, and it's easy to just go, they didn't want it. We There is a train of thought where we just got beat by the better team on Saturday, as on the day. That as much as we
But
might
we
not want
but we
it,
allowed them to be the better team.
yeah,
That's the thing. I can accept being outplayed by better teams. I can accept being outworked. I also can accept not doing the basics right.
yeah. Ryan, Liam Young, he's tagged us in a question centres on the 13th of March. Without sounding too negative, is Marshall vastly overrated and should we be looking for a better goalie to start or for Molly Johnson to start next season? He said, I'm just going to ask this again until you all agree with me. I think we do agree. I think we do agree at this point, Liam. And I think you would agree that it probably is a position that we do expect some movement in the summer if Marshall's form continues the way it is.
So we need to add
But
a
we do not
goalkeeper
want
to the.
Marciano.
I would be all over that, by the way, just to make that clear. I would absolutely have Marciano back in a fucking heartbeat.
No, no thanks.
Anyway, Ash, Ryan, shut up.
We need to add a goalkeeper to the massive shopping list that we've already asked for. But yeah, agree. Long term, it's not sustainable to be
Yeah.
making high profile mistakes.
Yeah, right. There's a few questions in here about Marshall and Jade and David. Apologies, but I think we've done enough on Marshall. Last question before we quickly talk about Dundee United. Dave Graham, shambles, and again, Lee Johnson won't take any of the blame. He's very quick to blame the players, just accept you set the team wrongly. Sorry, that's a statement, Dave. But right, so we just spoke about this, but for me, I'm going to go on the side of the fence that the players let the manager down. The formations, whatever. Show up, do your job, man for man. You should be better than that Motherwell team. You beat them in January. What about you? Don't sit on the fence. Nail your colours to the wind. Mast.
Lee Johnson got it wrong and the players weren't good enough. It's a lethal mix. It is a lethal mix. The manager gets the formation and tactics wrong and the players don't turn up.
Yeah, I think they both play a part in getting it wrong. The manager gets it wrong first, and then the 11 players in the park get it wrong after that. They don't show any personal pride or want to do it for the fans or even the family members in the stands, man. They just look like they can't be asked.
And that's not sitting on the fence, that's a genuine observation of.
I know. Right, United on Sunday. Live on the telly, Sky, 12:30. Another nice opportunity for it, or maybe it's 12. I can't mind. No doubt we'll absolutely shit the bed and embarrass ourselves. What needs to change? That's team wise. Greg, what's our strongest midfield right now, and what do you want to see?
Our strongest midfield is one that does not include Jago. Our strongest midfield is one that has Egan Riley. If he wants to play a holding midfielder, then it includes Egan Riley. If he doesn't want to play a holding midfielder, Egan Riley and centre mid. It's pretty simple. Joe Newland then as well. Campbell, Egan Riley. There's your three midfield.
Right back, Chris Cadden or Lewis Miller.
Lewis Miller. Will Fish. Paul Hanlon. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Lewis Stevenson. Midfield three as discussed. And then you are back this weekend.
Yes, it was only a 1-game suspension, I believe.
Thank God for that.
Cadden, Kukarevich, Youan.
Nisbet dropped, even though he scored.
I just didn't see enough effort from him, to be honest. I don't know about Ryan, I was very disappointed with him. I felt like it may have had something to do with the service, but I just felt like he wasn't doing enough to go get the ball.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, no, it was poor. He was poor. He was in the sulk. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't, like Greg says, he wasn't getting the service, but he didn't go and try and stamp his authority on the game. He didn't go and try and get the ball into his feet and stuff like that. Aye. And he rolled about with a wee
Usually
bit of injury.
strikers will drop deeper and look to get the ball deeper. Hoppy was doing it, but he wasn't. He think he had 2 chances to control the ball in the first half, and he couldn't control it. Half-assed attempt at pressing. So
Even
yeah,
on his bad days, though, he scores a goal. Is that not a player you want in your 11? But can you carry that if you're just for the goal threat?
we couldn't carry it the weekend, so if we have another instance where we're struggling, then we can't carry it again.
No. Right,
I'm glad that Youan's back, though. He's been absolutely phenomenal recently.
What about you, Ryan? Run us through your
form,
11.
Much the same as Greg, probably, man for man, to be honest with you. I think the system plays a big part. We just need to get more attacking players on the pitch and actually go at teams.
I'm glad you said
especially in wide areas.
I'm going.
Especially in wide areas, man.
I'm going 4-4.
Because I thought Cadden was very good.
4-4 fucking 2.
4-4 fucking 2. It's funny, I spoke to Liam about 4-4-2 at the weekend.
Miller, Fish, Hamlin, Stevenson, Youan left wing, Egan Riley, Joe Newell, Chris Cadden right mid, Nisbet and Kukarevich up top. Josh Campbell gets dropped for the first time in a while. Don't think he can have any real complaints, if I'm being honest. Jago gets dropped. Hoppy gets dropped. Don't think anyone can complain. Jay Doyle Hayes gets dropped. I think
Listen,
Jay Doyle
you could drop the whole team. To be honest. You could drop the whole team and none of them would have any complaints.
4-4 fucking 2. 2 wingers.
Other than Cadden, I would say. I thought Cadden was probably the one that showed a bit of promise at the weekend.
2 wingers.
Did you see Campbell getting smashed in the face with the ball twice on Saturday?
But do you know what, Ryan? Do you know what really pissed me off? Is it came from Arsenal about with the ball.
I know, but that's all
he took ages to release it, and then he released it and he got hit in the face.
It was a fucking corker as well, like.
Look,
but you're right.
Release it quicker.
It is important that we go to Tannadice on Sunday and try and stamp our authority onto the game, because we've seen a couple of different experiences against them this season. Earlier in the season at Tannadice, we absolutely battered them, and for poor officiating and poor finishing, came on the wrong side of a 1-0 defeat. And then at Easter Road, again, daylight robbery to get away with a point that day. But Dundee United are shite. Like, they are bad. They're.
And we've not beaten them this season. Never.
The fear with teams like Dundee United and the situation they're in is they've got to turn the corner at some point if they're going to.
So why
no against
Hibs? Is that what you're saying?
That's every other team's thought process, isn't it? So if they're going to turn the corner, it's going to be at home on the telly. So we need to really turn up and want to win it. Put a bit of fight and effort in, for God's sake.
Yeah, and depending on results on Saturday, you could be still within touching distance. If you could be within touching distance with third with a win, you could be going into the game sitting 7th. You know, like that. It's
we're not getting third. Let's be honest, we're not getting third.
Look, I'd be surprised. I think we were all ambitious in the last couple of weeks, and I don't think one game should dent that too much, because look, Hearts are only going backward. St Mirren at home. It's got St Mirren at home on Saturday. Sorry, man. Spotify's just done it again. I fucking shut myself. We've got St Mirren at home on Saturday, and like, I don't know, Aberdeen. Do you trust Aberdeen to carry on the way they're going the rest of the season? Like, we could put it together, but who knows? Ryan, do you think that third is gone now?
I would say that obviously with Hearts dropping points on Saturday, we had a real good chance there to go and win our home game and kind of close that gap a wee bit. So I would be worried now that has dented us for that. So I'm not as hopeful as I was pre-Saturday.
But we're still points-wise as close to third place as we were before Rangers. I just think two places further than the league. Like, it's.
And also I just think losing 3 games in the trot, it kind of dents the confidence a wee bit, and the momentum's kind of been sucked out of us as well. So
if the results go our way, so let's say Aberdeen lose to Kelly, St Mirren beat Hearts, and we beat Dundee United, so it would be 2 points off Hearts, point behind St Mirren and Aberdeen. All of a sudden, are we screaming for the rooftops a game that we're going to beat Hearts the following week and finish third?
100%. We're football fans.
Excellent. Give me a score
Cool.
prediction, Ryan, while we win.
2-1, Hibs.
Greg?
1-0 Hibs.
3-0 Hibs. We're going to see the reaction that we've not seen on enough occasions this season, but I will go up there and we're going to put on a show and win rather comfortably. Right, we'll be back next Monday night. Thank you very much for listening to this therapy session. Hopefully it's a much more positive and upbeat one next Monday if you're even still with us right now. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.